plan B. Do you have one? I never thought I needed one. At 22 years old, I never thought, when I was, I don't know, when did I start this, 37, 38? Well, no, probably 32 when I started getting itchy feet. You know, no one at 22 thinks, I'm just going to make this person rich and keep on doing it. But when you get older, you soon start realising, you know, time is of the essence. Well, a good chunk of your life, giving all this time and effort to somebody else, and another company and other managers. And this is probably, I would say most people would agree, you know, you do all of this for what? Like you get your wage, which goes on the mortgage, pays for the kids, pays for the fancy car, but then you're locked into those things. And I've just got to this point now where, you know, I wanted a bit more creative freedom. I want to take an extra day off, but I'm like, I can't. I need the money, you know. I'm a chef by trade, and I've been a chef for 24 years now. And what was it all for? You know, it's not all doom and gloom, don't get me wrong. It's, you know, there's a lot of life lessons I've learned, and being a chef has taught me loads, to be honest. But that's fine. But now I'm at a point where, you know, I, you know, potentially live till I'm 100. You know, I'm 39 now. Like, what am I going to do for the next 40 years? You know, but I know I'm not going to be a chef. Chefing's a little bit like being a footballer. My good years are over, and now I'm a bit later on in life. My back hurts, you know, a bit crunchy, a bit creaky. But I just kept thinking to myself, I needed to have a plan B. And I've been working my plan B for the last sort of year and a half. You know, I've been messing about with YouTube, and I would say I was a little bit naive to YouTube. I was like, I'll do a cooking channel, it's simple enough, isn't it? Everyone wants to cook. And then I realised I don't want to cook. Then I was like, what else do I like? I like tech. Try to do tech videos, and I was like, I don't mind doing tech videos, but obviously getting new tech and interest in tech is where, you know, you get the views, and I feel like older tech doesn't get the views as much. But I think over those videos and months what went by, I didn't give it enough chance and enough effort, and, you know, stick with one thing. I was like, wow, 7 videos in, it's not working, not really getting any views. But no one knows you. And then it sort of slowly changed, and bits and pieces over time, and slowly realised, you know, I need it to be more me, more rustic, more like I am in the kitchen. Quite, my food is, you know, it's not precise, it's not sort of like measured out to the last gram or whatever. It's, you know, a bit rough and ready, a bit, you know, a bit Jamie Oliver, a bit of this, bit of that. And I did that at the start with YouTube, and like, I don't think it works to a degree, but it can do if you have the right structure in place. And I don't know if I've got the right structure in place yet, because it's still early. This is probably my 3rd or 4th video. But I know for a fact that I want to work for myself. I want to start my own business, my own brand. You know, my childhood dream was, you know, potentially always having a clothing label, which would be quite cool. You know, I like to draw. I've started painting. You know, this is a really creative outlet, and, you know, like, work hasn't been that for a long time, and for some reason something clicked. I don't know what clicked, but something just turned off in cooking, and I was like, I'm done, literally done. I've tried to turn it back on, try to do all my old routines, look at books and stuff, but I can't do it. And I just feel like I've got to that point now where, you know, something's telling me, sorry, I'm just going for a dog walk. Say hello to Mush. Go, Mush. And something's telling me that, like, work on something else, do something else, like, something's calling me differently. What that is, I'm not too sure. But I feel like it's definitely YouTube. It's YouTube of some kind. Outlet I need to create, and, you know, like, be at home with my kids more, be at home with my family more. But, you know, I feel the more I do this, the more confident I get. You know, I used to hate speaking on camera and all that sort of stuff. I made me feel a bit sick, to be honest. But now I've got used to it for some reason. Like, I don't even look at myself and go, oh God. But I think that's just repetition, consistency, showing up, trying new things. You know, your first idea might not be your last idea, and there's nothing wrong with changing it. But the only thing I would change is to stay consistent, like put the effort into like 30 to 50 videos of, you know, whatever you want to make. And I don't think, like, I can't really say because I'm not, you know, a YouTube professional, but I don't think like niche down into one subject is a good idea, because like I try to do it in my cooking, and I try to do like, I want to be like the noodle guy because I got a thing for Asian noodles, or any type of noodles really, but thought I could try different flavours and stuff, but I was like, oh, then eventually that'll wear out, you'll run out of ideas. There's only so many dishes you can make. You know, that's where I kept changing my mind, up, down, up, down. I think even ChatGPT had enough of me. But here's where it gets hard, is trying to do this alongside a full-time job, a family. Like I say, I'm a chef by trade. You know, I work, you know, in busy periods, sort of maybe 2 to 3 evenings a week. You know, and obviously you have limited time. I know, you know, I'm sure there's a lot of dads out there who wish they had a lot of time to themselves, but you just have to create time. And like now, you know, I've dropped the kids off at nursery, straight out for a walk. I'm trying to do a video outside because I quite like getting outside and talking. I think it's, I don't know, just something quite therapeutic. But like I say, it is hard, don't get me wrong, but there is means and ways of doing it. Like, you know, I cut out alcohol because I found that quite a deterrent. You know, you have a couple of beers, sort of chill out, and you think, oh yeah, I'll get up for it and do some work. But then you just like, can't bother, I'll have a beer. You know, I haven't really drank for probably 2.5 years. You know, and I don't miss it. It's probably one of the best things I've ever done. I have a drink every so often if I went to a special occasion, maybe. Depends. But if there's a chance to drive, I'll probably just pick driving, to be honest. It's another thing which has suddenly switched off in my head. For some reason, I don't know why. Because like when I was younger, like in the chef world, it was every night go out on the piss, you know what I mean? So, and it was some of the greatest memories I've ever had, and I'll never forget them. But you have to make time, you have to figure stuff out, you have to move things around. You know, you get the kids to bed, make sure they're on bed on time. You know, like my little time is probably 7 till, well, sometimes 12. 7 till 12, 7 to 11. You know, that's the spare time you've got. What can you do in that time? Don't get me wrong, I was always a big lover of watching programmes. TV, film, or whatever. Still love a film. Watched quite a good film the other night. It was called One Battle After Another, new Leonardo DiCaprio film. Like a proper film, which I know it sounds like I'm going a bit off cuff, but so I've got a bit of grit to the actual look of the film, and there's no CGI, all the action stunts are done properly. You know, there's explosions, you know, old school sort of 90s, 2000s films where you know, the CGI wasn't so popular. But anyway, going back to what I'm saying is, sorry, I have got a few notes here, just to sort of, so I hit the right points. What I've done so far, you know, sometimes it does give you a little bit of anxiety. You think, oh, I'm putting all this effort and time into it, and like there's no definite confirmation this is going to work. But there's nothing wrong with that. You just got to get over that feeling. You know, go, right, this is for the greater good. This is for the future, the family, me, you know, your mental health, whatever. I can only speak for hospitality workers, but I'm sure all places of work have their own problems. But, you know, I know hospitality is in a bit of a dark place at the minute. But yeah, but you got to get past the sort of like, well, there's no definite wins in life, but there's nothing. But maybe you have the odd bet, horse racing, you know, football bet. There's no definite win, is there? But you still do it. Take a chance on yourself and learn the skills that you need to learn, like a little bit of video editing. You can keep it simple. You know, I started off really complicated. I had a Canon EOS R Insta360 Go S. I had something else on my phone. I tried to run 4 different cameras at once, and then trying to do an action, and then record it, and then edit it. Yeah, it's a right palaver. Yeah, I mean, some edits look quite cool in some parts, but the whole storyline of it and the structure of it is just a bit broken. That's the one thing I learned, is don't overcomplicate it. Like, I've got an Action 4 now on a selfie stick, and I'm talking to you, and I might lay some B-roll over this just to sort of explain what I'm talking about. But that's about it. You know, all it has to be really, until you get a bit more confident and a bit more skilled in, you know, and then you venture off. Because I was just Googling all these fancy shots I keep seeing to try and put them in my video, thinking they're going to get views. But I would do it crap and no one would watch it. So, you know, lesson learnt. But you got to take your evenings, you know, and obviously your days where you can go out, go for walks, have a chat, talk about something you're passionate about, or, you know, if you want to do cooking videos, do cooking videos. But they don't have to be hard. Like, you could have like a little DJI Action 4 set up in the corner, just film you. Like, don't have to be fancy cuts or anything like that. You know, even I've thought about, like, I could do like Dad's dinners. You know, Dad's dinners, like weekly dinners. You know, what do I do for my family to help other families get better at cooking? You know, I think all that sort of stuff is quite, I find it quite passionate. But, you know, like I want this channel to be, you know, a mixture. Like there will be cooking bits at some points, but, you know, like I say, I've done it for a long time, so a little bit of a break from that is not too much to ask. But, you know, I like the creative thought, like to get people inspired about doing something different to their normal job. Like, you know, everyone says they're stuck and they're, you know, they can't do anything. You know, and I'm not saying that YouTube is for everyone, which it's not. You know what I mean, you have to be, I think you have to be a certain type of person, but what that person is, I don't know, but obviously I don't want to insult myself. Yeah, the more I do it, the less fucks I give. And I just think that's important. Like, who cares? You know, do it for you, you know, and if the bet comes through and you win, you know, you're going to be proud as punch when, you know, you're earning a living, you don't have to go to work for somebody else. Take a chance. I say, what have you got to lose? This is what no one tells you when you start a side hustle, that you don't need to replace your income straight away because you don't have a business yet. This is an idea in your head and you have to put the effort in to make it a reality. You have to just go through the steps of learning, teaching yourself, watching videos, you know, doing the homework to making yourself good at what you want to achieve. But this comes in time, this comes in experimentation, you know, different videos, different formats, you know, just like taking a chance. And you never know, like, you know, it could take a month, could take 6 months, you know, it could take 3 years, but, you know, you think 3 years out of your whole life, isn't that worth, like, trying something new to give yourself this, like, freedom to do something like this all the time? Imagine just waking up, dropping the kids off, spending time with them, having a lovely weekend, and then Monday morning, well, I'm going to go for a walk, make a video, you know. And I'm not saying it's as easy as that, and there's going to be ups and downs, you're going to feel crap, you're going to feel up, you're going to feel, you know, whatever, but it's just worth the effort. Even if you're just earning, I don't know, a few £100, say you earn £500 extra a month just doing videos, you know, imagine the extra pressure that's like. You know, for my family, that's 3/4 of my mortgage, just over half my mortgage, or it can feed the house for a month. Well, probably a bit extravagant, 500 quid. You know what I mean? It can free up a lot of things, a lot of anxiety. 500 quid extra a month, you know, it's crazy money and really realistic for an everyday person. But even if it gives you like 1 or 2 hours a week where you feel yourself again, you know, you feel like you're coming, you know, giving that creative energy something to feed on, you know, you're doing something for yourself. And I think that's important, especially for, I'm not being sexist, because obviously, you know, the women can go off and do something what they want to do, you know what I mean? Then, you know, it's up to them what they feel like doing. I mean, but you could be a woman who wants to do this. I don't know, but I'm just saying, like, for dads, say, you know, if you need a bit of creative outlet, and then create something. You know, your favourite sports, football club, talk about them. You know, just have conversations, what people should do, what the club should do, who they should buy, you know, or, you know, you want to draw, teach people how to draw, you know, or just, like I say, cooking, or girls, you can do makeup, you can do hairstyles, you know, mummies can do hairstyles for children or whatever, but whatever it is, it can be anything. People will watch. If they're interested in that subject, people will watch. And, you know, you got to make it relatable, don't you? Know, you get the point of what I'm saying. But remember, like, the side hustle isn't the plan B in theory. It's the start of something where you can build it, where you don't have a ceiling. You just keep going up and up and up. But it all depends on how much effort you want to put in. An unlimited ceiling, I don't know, makes me quite excited. There's nothing worse than feeling trapped. Take this as hopefully a bit of inspiration, spark to sort of ignite what you want to do. So, on that note, go out and get what you want. Earn the extra 500 quid a month, you know, put yourself out there, get yourself out of your comfort zone, and you'll be surprised what happens. Peace out.